testing, 1, 2, testing, 1, testing. 3, here we are, about 10 minutes from starting. Testing 1, testing 2.
Joni, she wanted us to say hello. So, monkeys are the time zone. Do they know that it's? Oh. There was that day, say CST. I know, because Joni's in California. I know.
Think about that. Because at least people at home, it's the same time.
Yeah.
It was not that great.
No, I wanted for our people to do it. Okay. That was the only reason. I don't know. She was out on there was no traffic. I came on that same toll. I was on that same toll.
Is that what's supposed to?
Make sure we're saying the right thing.
Yeah.
It's really nice around the one.
I like it all.
Yeah.
So this new country bill, where are you going now?
Yeah. What kind of work do you do? Still doing it?
So, what's your preference?
You want to look at one of these different shows.
Stevie?
That's a good job.
How much room?
You miss it? I did.
That's my thought. That is what I.
Stress, pressures, reaching those goals, to lighten out. Yeah, hospitality in general, especially since COVID.
Watching this movie, application.
There's probably areas that are still, but it's open through. When we were there.
Or maybe then when it's
That there.
Oh, yeah, like that.
Worldwide.
He was in
They're
Arizona.
shooting to the restoration.
They went to college and
See,
everything.
even though I feel like
No, he, they came back to Chicago. One of them went to college.
right now, we get to Dallas, so what time, 11:30 at night? Yeah, and we still have your
My brother appreciates doing
what part?
Yes, I know. Here she is.
We're about to begin our service. If I could ask everyone to please take a moment to turn your cell phones to their silent mode before we begin. Conducting our service today is Rabbi Michael Sullivan.
It's always good when the rabbi turns their phone off first. The act of kriya, or the act of tearing, is as old as biblical times. Back then, when a loved one died, they would tear their clothing and pour ash upon their head. Today, the act comes as a black ribbon that a mourner wears, torn to show the tear in your lives, so that family and friends may approach you with more love and sympathy. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, dayan ha'emet. Blessed are you, Lord our God, judge of truth. Esayenai el heharim me'ayin yavo ezri. Esayenai el heharim me'ayin yavo ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai O say Shemayim va'aretz, Ezri me'im Adonai. O say Shemayim va'aretz. In those words the psalmist wrote long ago, I lift my eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God is your guardian. God is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. God will guard you from all harm. God will guard your soul, your going and coming now and forever. Our writings teach us that a woman of strength, beauty, and kindness, who can find? She is more precious than fine gems. Her family loves and depends on her, and so they lack nothing. She does good by them, never harm all the days of her life. She perceives that her labor is rewarding. Her candle burns on into the night. She reaches out to those in need and extends her hands to everyone. She is clothed in strength and dignity, and she faces the future cheerfully. She speaks with wisdom. The law of kindness is on her lips. Her children rise up and bless her. Her family entire sing her praises. Many daughters have done valiantly, but you excel them all. Anita Lisson lived the best life she knew how in her 91.5 years on earth. She was kind and dedicated to her family and friends her entire life. This moment comes for all of us when we must grieve for our loss while remembering all that was good of our loved one. Daughter of Ruth of blessed memory, beloved wife of Erwin Lang of blessed memory for 24 years, and wife of Ralph Lisson of blessed memory for 40 years. Loving mother of Robin, Jeffrey, Robert, Stuart, and the late Michael of blessed memory. Sister of Mort and Erno, both of blessed memory, beloved aunt, cousin, and friend to so many. May we remember Anita for her beauty, intelligence, sense of humor, and kindness, and may her memory always be a blessing. A poet wrote, "If you are reading this, then I must be gone. Remember me true, my good days and bad, although I hope our memories hold more smiles than pain. Remember the days filled with laughter, so that your tears may hold some sweetness and less sorrow. I never claim perfection, although I'm still convinced I was right a lot. But please forgive me those moments when I couldn't admit I was wrong. Life is built day upon day, where memories accumulate like fallen leaves in autumn. We keep only the most special and colorful ones, while the rest are swept away and forgotten. I'm so blessed for all my days you filled with so much color. If this is being read, and I'm off elsewhere never to return, remember my love for you more than anything else, because in the end, that is the best gift that I can leave you." The Byrds made popular these ancient words of Ecclesiastes when they sang that there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak. Now is the time we speak of Anita's incredible life as I call up her niece Lori to speak.
So first I might add that I'm sending healing hugs to Jeffrey. We're missing him today. He's not able to be here. He's in Dallas. I am honored to read these lovely eulogies that our cousin Jerry and Joni have written. They also could not be here, so they are not my words. However, I'm honored to read them for them. First, I will read from Jerry. 38 years ago, I tried to deliver some remarks at Cousin Mort's funeral. I was unable to get through them, and I asked Ralph to read them for me. Today, under somewhat different circumstances, I have written brief remarks to share with you about my cousin, Anita Jane Rosenthal Lang Lisson. But first, almost all Anitas are pronounced Anita. We of her generation know her as Anita. That had to come from Grandma Ceylon's voice. She spoke only Yiddish to us all. Julius and Sarah had 10 children. 8 grew up and formed our extended family. The 8 produced 19 grandchildren, and 7 of us are still here. My mother Rose and Anita's mother Ruth were extremely close, and the 6 children between them were all born close in age to each other. Mort was born on April 18, 1933. Anita was born June 26, 1934. Jerry was born December 26, 1934. Erno, October 31st, 1935. Arlene, May 15th, 1936. And Joni, October 26, 1939. The family home was at 4838 Central Park, and every Sunday it was the gathering point for family and family dinners, Pesach, Rosh Hashanah, bar mitzvahs, and confirmations. We blurred the line between sister and cousin, and brother or cousin, and second and third, and even fourth cousins. Anita and I are 6 months apart. But I'm going to sidebar here because Joni explained a little bit more about the years between. Anita was only 14 months younger than Mort. Joni was 6 months younger than Anita. Erna was just 10 months younger than Joni. And Arlene was 7 months younger than Erno. Joni was 3 years and 5 months younger than Arlene. That's really close. Because we lived at Central Park when I was a toddler, and then again as a teenager, Anita and I were very close. I'm happy to say that in these years, we never had a crossword or a disagreement. She was more than a cousin. She was truly the sister from another mother. Anita had 2 nicknames, Mufti and Miss Waterworks. We didn't know where Mufti came from, but the Waterworks label was because as a preteen, she cried so easily. As a child, Anita took elocution poetry lessons. She dreamed of showcasing her talents at the Morris B. Sachs Amateur Hour, a local version of Major Bowes Amateur Hour, and later Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts. But with much grit and determination, she marched herself downtown for her audition. The producers didn't see Anita's talent and passed on her appearance, sadly. We think that this rejection and the get the hook cries triggered the Waterworks nickname. Amongst her many good qualities, Anita loved having strong and lasting friendships. She had many. I remember her friends from Volta, Marlene Noble and Sonny Epstein. Later in high school, Laurel Sorkin, Bauman, and Shelley Rose became lifelong friends. My friend Arnold Rubin sat behind Anita Rosenthal in many classes at Von Steuben. They were friends for their lifetimes. The last time I was in Dallas, and Sandy and I were having lunch with Anita, Arnold called me. I handed the phone to Anita to answer it, and Anita and Arnold had a delightful chat. We shared some early work experiences. Uncle Joe paid $1 to babysit Michael and Dick, plus a ride to school the next morning in a Cadillac convertible. Through Uncle Jerry and Aunt Fief's friend, Hi Chris, we worked weekends at Marsh's Barbecue on Thatcher's Road in Elmwood Park. Anita was a server and a waitress. I was a busboy and backup malted milk maker. We were paid and even got to eat after the lunch crowd dwindled down. After high school, Anita applied to the University of Iowa and was accepted, being the first in the family to attend an out-of-state school. During her freshman year, Aunt Ruth, Erno, and I took a train to Iowa City and met Mort, who was in the Air Force and stationed in Nebraska. With Anita, we all had a great weekend together. When Anita and her family moved to Dallas, we kept in touch with weekly phone calls and visits. For a bar mitzvah, we even drove overnight with 3 children in the back seat. Not a smart decision. Anita would fly back and forth, yes, there's still more, would fly back and forth to visit family, and in the early years, she brought back frozen whitefish fillets and chicken feet for making soup, as well as Chinese food, we'll add. Today, our extended family includes second and third and even fourth cousins. We still consider them all just cousins, just family. This commitment to each other is strong, and Anita's legacy will be in her being a driving force in keeping our family one big and getting bigger family. So the next time you reach out to someone in the family that you haven't spoken with in a while, think of Anita as that family force. That was beautiful from Jerry. And if I could continue, I also have one from Joni. Not as long, but pretty long. They are family. They know how to talk, right? We have the gift of gab, that is for sure. I absolutely agree with Jerry about the relationship between the 6 of us, not only cousins, but as an extension of each other's family. How fortunate we were to grow up together with a very loud and boisterous family. We had our grandparents, as well as our aunts, uncles, and more cousins. Every holiday was spent as a family affair, with everyone gathered around the dining room table. Except as kids, we were at card tables in the living room. Living conditions were a little crowded.
and Anita slept with her brother Erno in the front bedroom, which was not a real bedroom. It had glass French doors, allegedly taken off of the sun parlor, and had the built-in closet of any kind, and no built-in closet, of any kind, meaning the room was built originally as a music room. Her closet consisted of a 24-inch wide cabinet. That meant all of her clothes needed to fit in that small space. Is it any wonder why, as adults, we expanded our wardrobes? With the Myers family living upstairs and the Ceylon Rosenthals living downstairs, doors were never locked. We were up and down those stairs multiple times per day, and our lives were completely intertwined. Anita was definitely more of a big sister than a cousin. My earliest memory was our going to see Pinocchio at the Metro Theater. I must have been 7, 8, maybe 9, but I doubt it, because can you imagine? It's dark outside, and each of us walked home alone. Me to Wilson and Kimball, and Anita to Central Park. Anita had come home from the University of Iowa and was working as an employment counselor, where she had to change her name so as to not appear anything but a WASP. When she would leave for work, I would sneak downstairs and into her closet. I borrowed her clothes for the day and had them returned before she got home. And by the way, I was never caught, until now. When Anita started dating Erwin, she was 20 and I was 15. I remember the night that they became engaged. She was asking me if I noticed anything new as she flashed her diamond ring. Their wedding was my first as a bridesmaid. I had already been a flower girl at Aunt Fife and Uncle Jerry's wedding, though. Early in their marriage, they lived in an apartment in Rogers Park. I often went to dinner with the ulterior motive, as Anita was the only one who I would let tweeze my eyebrows. Robin was born when they lived in Skokie, and as Anita loved being pregnant, she kept trying for another girl. We all know that didn't work. Aunt Ruth and I spent many a weekend commuting and either babysitting or generally just helping out. For me, it ended in September of 1962 when I left for California. I'm not sure when the Lang family moved to Dallas, but there were many trips to Los Angeles where Erwin and Anita would always invite me to dinner. In later years, we took trips together to Sedona, Arizona, and Santa Fe, New Mexico, and it's where I learned to not only buy an important piece of art, but to also search for the perfect peach. My beautiful, fashionable, and smart cousin was the one that I could count on for early memories of life with our grandparents, to help plan the perfect party and to share yummy recipes, especially homemade bread and brisket. We celebrated milestones together, and were able to continue our lives together even if it was by long distance. Every phone call included updates on her children. Also a new recipe and how to invest wisely. When we spoke a few weeks ago, I told her I had a memory of being with her and her friend Sunny, and we hitchhiked. I asked her where we were going and why I was with her, because after all, there was a 5-year age difference. She replied, "Because you were a pest. That's it. Say it like it is." And she always did that.
Anita was born in Chicago, growing up and graduating from Von Steuben High School. She worked for the IRS as a revenue officer and loved her job. The only reason she retired was because she didn't like her boss at that point in her tenure. She retired in 2005 when she was around 70 years old, but she would have stayed. She loved to travel, especially to Mackinac Island. She and Ralph traveled a lot, twice a year or more, going on cruises together. Anita loved seeing the world. She loved France. And Stuart, you recalled how she loved seeing Monte Carlo with you. She traveled to England and saw Cuba with her brother Erno. She and Ralph met him down there to tour the country together. Anita was known to be very theatrical. Her Uncle Joe owned a showboat in Chicago, Showboat CRES, and Anita worked there in her mid-20s. She loved performing and had a good relationship with the band director. He would always bring her on stage when she was there for the last number. He would introduce her as the lovely Anita Lovely for that final song, and she would play the tambourine with the band and just loved the experience. She had wanted to be an actress when she was a kid. She was always so dramatic. Stuart and Robin, you commented how your mom was fun. She raised you all once the divorce happened and always did what she thought was best. And she taught you all a lot of responsibility and independence as a mom. Stuart, you commented how your mom would send you with money to go to the Cubs game and catch the bus there as a young kid by yourself. You remembered how your mom took you to Mexico as a family from Texas a lot of times. In her life, she lived in Dallas longer than she ever lived in Chicago, having moved there in 1968, over 57 years ago. You all commented how your mom loved to cook, but no one remembers Anita cooking when you kids were little. After she got divorced in 1975 or 6, she took a cooking course and made some friends who were also taking the course, and still had a great friend from that course to this day, Arlene, who visited just the other week. And of course, there was Betty Polito, who also was a friend from that course, who had moved to Florida and just recently had moved back to Texas, and they had reconnected. If you were a friend of Anita's, you were a friend through thick and thin. Her best friend, Laurel Bauman, who died recently, was also known as Auntie Laurel to the family. Anita was also close with her sister-in-law, Rita, of blessed memory, who everyone called Aunt Rita. Anita was very sad when Rita died in 2023 because the two of them used to talk all the time. Anita was an incredible caregiver to Ralph when his health deteriorated. She waited on him hand and foot. Everything she did was to take care of him. It took a toll on her. She was devastated, yet relieved he was no longer suffering when he died November 29th of 23. Family was everything to Anita. If you were a friend, you were more like family. And if you were family, there was nothing she wouldn't do for you. Anita loved strongly and loved for life, staying connected to everyone she cherished from beginning to end. In living, we all try to make the world a better place. Anita succeeded. In life, we hope to raise children who remind us why we did it all. You are all Anita's legacy, the people she loved most in the world. May you always remember the best of her in her strength and health, and may her memory always be a blessing, as she was such a blessing in all of your lives. Linda Ellis wrote, I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on her tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came her date of birth and spoke the following date with tears, but he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For the dash represents all the time that she spent alive on earth, and now only those who loved her knew what that little line was worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So please think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left. That can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try and understand how other people feel, and be less quick to anger and show our appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a while. So when your eulogy's being read, with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent your dash? Stuart found it in Anita's desk and thought that she would love to have it read today. We turn together in our pamphlets to read the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. You make me lie down in green pastures. You lead me beside the still waters. You restore my soul. You guide me in straight paths for your name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We rise in body and spirit for El Malei Rachamim, our memorial prayer. El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hamsei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kedoshim Torim, Kezohar Harakei Mazirim, Et Nishmat Anita Bat Ruth, Shalachal Olama, Baal Rachamim Yastereha, Beseter Kanafav Lolamim, V'yitzvor b'yitzvor hachayim et nishmata, Adonai hu nachlata, v'tanuach b'shalom, al mishkavav v'nomar amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Anita Lisson, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in your eternal presence and in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace, and let us say, Amen.
You can be seated. Our services here in the chapel are now concluded. At this time, we will escort the casket back up to the hearse. We'll ask everyone to go to your cars, and please follow behind the hearse as we process to the gravesite for the interment. At this time, we'll ask that you please rise as we escort the casket from the chapel.